There is breaking news this morning. President Obama addresses the country after the United States and other world powers make a deal to put new limits on Iran's nuclear program.
And police are on the hunt for two armed robbers who shot a MARTA employee as she walked home from work.
Plus, the Fox 5 storm team is tracking the threat of severe weather across North Georgia later today. Good morning. Welcome to Good Day Atlanta at 8. I'm Gervier Dinsa.
And I'm Buck Lanford. We want to get right over to Joanne Feldman. She's in the Fox 5 Storm Center with a check of our forecast. You know, yesterday was hot.
Right.
But when you walked out the door this morning, I don't care what hour it was, you could tell a distinct difference in 24 hours.
How's your hair?
I think his hair looks fabulous.
Was it Frizz Alert? Is that what it is?
Okay.
Frizz Alert.
Frizz Alert. Bad hair day. There you go. But I tell you what, the fact that you're feeling a difference in the air this morning means it's going to be a different day. Not all severe weather days are the same. Today is a higher risk. Look at this, though. Covington at 8 a.m. You have already warmed up to 80 degrees, so you know it's going to be a scorcher this afternoon. Low 90s for most of the afternoon, but most of the afternoon is also dry. It's not until after 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon that we'll see our first storms moving into North Georgia. Then they'll press into the metro area close to sunset. The farther north you go, the higher the risk is. So any part of our viewing area can get damaging winds and large hail. I just think we'll see more storms doing that north of a Rome to Athens line. So we're tracking that severe weather risk very closely for you. I'll have a look at the hour-by-hour forecast in a few minutes. In the meantime, I've got a look at SkyFox traffic with Katie Beasley off today. And we're going to start with a look at the West Wall. This is a peak near South Atlanta Road. It's now a 21-minute drive from I-20 heading north to I-75, and it's also thick heading in either direction on the top end perimeter. About a 20-minute drive between I-75 and I-85 east and westbound. Buck?
All right, Joanne, thank you. President Obama says a landmark deal finalized overnight will cut off Iran's ability to make a nuclear weapon.
The president spoke from the White House about an hour ago. The accord would prevent Iran from obtaining materials needed to make a nuclear weapon and also grant UN inspectors more access to inspect Iranian sites. The president's approach to finding a diplomatic solution with Iran has been the centerpiece of his foreign policy.
This deal meets every single one of the bottom lines that we established when we achieved a framework earlier this spring. Every pathway to a nuclear weapon is cut off, and the inspection and transparency regime necessary to verify that objective will be put in place.
The president also warned that any violation of the agreement by Iran would lead to the return of sanctions. Congress will still get its say about the agreement. The president's move to open talks with Iran has been widely criticized by both Democrats and Republicans and strained relations with allies such as Israel. But President Obama says that he will veto any legislation to block the deal with Iran. Atlanta police are looking for two men who robbed then shot a woman who works for MARTA as she walked home from work.
Good Day Atlanta's Caitlin Pratt is live at Grady Memorial Hospital where the victim is recovering this morning. Caitlin.
Good morning to you both. And we're talking about a vicious attack, guys. We just learned that this woman was shot not once, but twice. First in the stomach, then in the back after she told the crooks she didn't have anything for them to take.
A bag dropped during an early morning scuffle in southeast Atlanta.
She noticed him once she got in her driveway.
That bag's owner now in the hospital, ambushed while walking home from work.
She had just gotten off the MARTA bus. She was headed home, and she was approached while she was in her driveway.
Two men, she told police, demanding whatever valuables she had.
Once she told them that she didn't have anything, they shot her. She was shot at least one time in the abdomen.
This victim, police say, a MARTA worker in her late 30s. She was able to tell officers what her attackers looked like.
The suspects were described as two black males. One was tall with a low haircut, and the other one was described as being chubby with dreadlocks.
With nothing to show for their attempt, the two took off running. Atlanta police spent the morning collecting fingerprints, hoping to find the bold, young suspects described as in their late teens or early 20s.
Young and merciless. You're probably wondering about this victim. Even after being shot twice, she was able to make it to a neighbor's house for help. She's here at the hospital in stable condition right now. That's the very latest outside Grady Memorial Hospital this morning. I'm Caitlin Pratt for Good Day Atlanta.
Caitlin, thank you. DeKalb County Police are on the hunt for the gunman who shot and wounded a man and a woman overnight.
Good Day's Mark Teigner joins us live outside DeKalb County Police headquarters with more on the investigation. Mark, good morning.
Well, good morning, Buck, and detectives here at police headquarters in DeKalb County trying to figure out who shot these two and, of course, why. This shooting took place in the middle of the night, actually also in the middle of the street. We're talking about East Drive in Decatur. That's where this shooting happened, and we are told that there were two victims, a male and a female, both shot. The man was shot 3 different times, once in the stomach, once in the buttocks, and one in an unknown location. He was rushed to Grady. Last description of his condition was touch and go. The woman was shot in the arm. Those injuries described as non-life threatening. At this point, don't really have a lot as far as suspect description or a possible motive as to why this would take place. Police on the scene did say that they were working some pretty good clues and they had some ideas about what might have happened, but they didn't want to share that with us, they said, until they could piece absolutely everything together. Of course, when we get more information, we will pass it along to you. But for now, that's the latest from DeKalb County, where we've got 2 people shot, a man and a woman. Mark Teigner reporting live. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Mark. DeKalb County Police are hoping surveillance video will help them catch a killer. 53-year-old Harry Wells was gunned down while he was working at the Exxon gas station near Memorial Drive and Covington Highway. Police say early yesterday somebody came into the convenience store and shot Wells. A witness tells Fox 5 he saw the gunman just after the shooting.
I walked in and I heard a shot and I looked. I mean, he had put the gun down and walked out of the door.
So you didn't hear any words exchanged?
No words exchanged.
Customers who knew Wells describe him as a kind and giving man.
The sculptor chosen to create a statue of Martin Luther King Jr. for the state capitol grounds has died.
53-year-old Andy Davis was hit by a car while riding his motorcycle on Jodico Road near I-75 in Henry County over the weekend. The driver of the car is charged with vehicular homicide. Davis was commissioned for the King statue last month. His works include a statue of Patrick Henry in the McDonough Square. The congregation of a Northwest Atlanta church chipped in to buy a car for a church member.
The church wanted to help Rose Cherry because she was having trouble getting to services. But just 2 days after she received the car, she was driving with a friend when another driver rear-ended her. The women got out to investigate, and that is when a group of teenagers descended on them.
And when I turned around, the boy was in the car, and I so loud that it stole this girl's car.
I don't want to press charges, I just want him the car back because it was a blessing from God.
Now, the bishop at the church says he doesn't know how, but the congregation will find a way to replace the car.
A worker at the DeKalb County Animal Shelter was mauled by a dog over the weekend. We're told a dog became aggressive and attacked the woman. It took several employees to free that woman's arm. She was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital for treatment. The dog that attacked her was put down. There are concerns in one southwest Atlanta neighborhood after a crew hired by the city paved over a water leak.
One homeowner says she noticed a water meter leaking before the crews came out to her street. A manager who supervises work for the private company involved told Fox 5 that they continued the work at the instruction of the Public Works Department. The homeowner thinks that decision will cause problems in the future.
I asked the supervisor, the contractors, I said, did you realize that the water was leaking? He said, yes. I said, if the water is leaking with the asphalt stick? He said, yes, but it'll crack eventually.
City Council member Michael Bond spoke with the homeowner and says he doesn't understand why the leak wasn't repaired first. A spokesperson for the mayor says the water leak will be fixed soon.
Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker is the latest Republican to enter the 2016 presidential race. He launched his campaign yesterday, vowing to fight for America's interests abroad and also for conservative policies in Washington. The 47-year-old is the 15th Republican to enter the race for the White House.
The Hillary Clinton campaign says it will make a list of its biggest fundraisers public. That's something that no other presidential candidate has done yet. Candidates are legally required to report only the registered lobbyists who are raising money for their campaigns. Clinton says she wants to reduce the influence of money on elections.
Coming up on Good Day Atlanta this morning, the most powerful member of the Georgia House will introduce what he calls a pastor protection bill aimed at keeping ministers from being forced to perform gay marriages.
Plus, a tornado is spotted in Kansas, and we have our own severe weather to watch for today.
We do. It is a steamy morning out on the Fox 5 weather deck, but that will lead to a stormy evening. We're tracking the details coming up in your Fox 5 Storm Team AccuWeather forecast.
Welcome back. It's now 13 minutes after 8. Severe weather just raked across the Midwest and the Ohio Valley, and it could take aim for Georgia later today.
A tornado was spotted in central Kansas on Monday. Man, take a look at that. The twister just northeast of the town of Nickerson came along with damaging hail and lightning. The tornado did not cause any major damage, but it did knock out power to thousands of people. Heavy rain was the problem in Kentucky. Up to 5 inches of rain fell in just a few hours yesterday. It flooded streets and left drivers stranded. That storm also caused widespread power outages.
Okay, so we want to get out to the Fox 5 weather deck right now with Joanne, because we're expecting our own severe weather later today. No tornadoes, I hope.
Well, you know what? This is a weather situation where we can't promise you that there won't be one. So that is what separates today out. That's not the most likely threat to happen, but it's something we're keeping an eye on. And I wouldn't be out here if we had storms right now. So right now it is very quiet. There's a hazy sunshine that you see from our Fox 5 net cam from Georgia Power. And I'll tell you, most of us come in during those wee small hours of the morning at 3, 4 a.m. and it was really uncomfortable because of the humidity. But now that there's a slight breeze, it actually doesn't feel all that bad. Yes, you can tell it's going to be a steamy day, but we're still in the upper 70s in Atlanta. Humidity at 81%. The west wind at 9 miles an hour does make a difference in the comfort level so far. But then we've got to worry about much stronger winds than that out of any storm later today. By far, damaging wind gusts will be be that primary severe weather risk, winds that could go up to 60 miles per hour or greater in any storm, and then also hail that could be a full inch in diameter or larger. Now, on the lower end, the very low end of the scale, is that tornado risk, but since an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out, stay alert to any warnings this afternoon. Be prepared to take shelter if a warning is issued in your neighborhood, and if you need a way to get warnings, your free Fox 5 Storm Team app on your smartphone is a great way to do that. You can take it with you wherever you go. Now, let's go through the hour-by-hour forecast to talk timeline. And you see right there, kind of blasts into northwest Georgia beginning at 5 p.m., crosses into the metro area before 8 p.m. and kind of lingers there for a couple of hours. So really, I'd watch anywhere from maybe 4 p.m. at the absolute earliest to midnight on the later end of this for most of those storms to happen. We'll get a few stragglers after midnight, but I think by then the severe weather threat will be much lower. So there's your warm-up today. 93 with high humidity is going to push the heat index close to 100 for most of us today, and the heat only gets stronger. Yes, we'll lose the storms Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but as we're going into the weekend, those are some of our hottest days, a minimum of 95 degrees. But we'll send it back indoors right now and get a check of Skyfox traffic. Buck and Gervier.
All right, Joanne, thanks a lot. Katie has the day off, so we'll take a look at Skyfox traffic. Delays remain thick, leaving Gwinnett County on I-85 southbound. It's a 25-minute trip time from Highway 316 to I-285. 575 southbound from Highway 92 to I-75. That's going to take you about 14 minutes. 75 southbound from Wade Green Road to the Cobb Cloverleaf. That is a 26-minute drive. The New Horizons space probe just had a close encounter that's far, far away. It flew within 7,800 miles of Pluto about half an hour ago. NASA won't get confirmation of the flyby for another few hours since it takes that long for radio signals to reach Earth. New Horizons is on a 3 billion mile journey that began in 2006.
I can't even wrap my mind around that. It's very cool. All right, a new battle is brewing over marriage in Georgia. House Speaker David Ralston's backing an election year bill that he says would make sure pastors are not forced to perform ceremonies for same-sex couples. Critics of the bill say the Supreme Court ruling which legalized marriage for same-sex couples doesn't require churches to perform them. One Atlanta pastor who does officiate gay weddings supports the proposal.
I would be in complete total agreement with that. I believe that's mixing church and state in a way that is very dangerous.
Speaker Ralston says the bill is going to be ready for the first day of next year's General Assembly session. A similar bill has already passed in Texas.
Some bold burglars are victimizing homeowners in East Atlanta. There have been 3 reports in the past week of the thieves kicking in doors and stealing valuables. All of the thefts have happened during daylight hours, some as early as 7 o'clock in the morning.
First, ripped open the bedroom, pulled all the drawers out, clothes everywhere. Night tables, pulled all the drawers out, emptied everything out, ripped up my bed.
We don't know why it's causing this street or this certain area all the time. Like, we just don't know, and it's scary.
Police are warning homeowners to keep a lookout. The burglars have been known to hit the same house 2 days in a row.
Members of 2 Forsyth County churches are struggling to understand why they were targeted by vandals. The congregations discovered the damage over the weekend at one church. A broken window and 3 crosses turned upside down at another church nearby. The front sign was pried open and the letters rearranged to spell out Satan. There was a significant amount of damage done at both churches.
Probably $1,500 for a small congregation. That's a hard amount to come up with. I don't see how they can lay down at night knowing that they have done something like this. They need a little more guidance in their life.
Church leaders are urging the vandals to have a change of heart, come forward and confess. A local bridal boutique is helping some women in our military walk down the aisle in style. Every year, the program Brides Across America gives wedding gowns to members of our military. The event is first come, first serve. So the gowns go pretty fast. The brides-to-be shop with a consultant and leave with a gown free of charge.
We just are continually inspired by the people we meet and the stories we hear, and we just haven't figured out how to stop yet.
Now, Wesney says this is the 8th year her boutique has taken part. Since 2008, her shop has given gowns to more than 550 brides. The time now is 19 minutes after 8. Coming up on Good Day Atlanta, there is a new warning from the federal government that taking drugs such as Advil and Aleve can lead to heart trouble. We will speak to Dr. Joe from the Fox Medical team about who might be at risk.
Hey, Joette. 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 Yeah, your window's opening with Atlanta.
You're doing pain relievers.
And where am I?
Atlanta.
Oh. I can.
Welcome back. It's 8:22. We want to follow up on a huge FDA warning involving some popular over-the-counter medications. There are new worries that drugs such as Advil and Aleve can cause heart trouble. The Fox Medical team's Dr. Joe is following this for us, and she is live in Tampa this morning. Dr. Joe, good morning to you. First, bring us up to speed on these drugs. They're called NSAIDs. So what seems to be the concern about NSAIDs?
Good morning. Yeah, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So lots of them. Most of us have them in our medicine cabinet. Things like ibuprofen, Aleve or naproxen. Aspirin's also in this category, but it's not. There is no warning that's going along with aspirin, so that's really huge too. But there's also prescription ones like Celebrex. Now the concern is that they can increase the risk of heart attack and stroke. But once again, like I said, not aspirin. And we had this warning in 2005, so it was kind of a surprise. Why is the FDA strengthening the warnings? Well, it turns out they've looked at multiple studies. I was looking at excerpts from a 400-page document last night, and when you look at these studies and you see that there can be that increased risk of a heart attack and stroke, it can happen within the first week of use. It can happen certainly with larger doses, but it can happen with any dose. They say that it's normally, we worry about people with pre-existing heart disease, those with risk factors for heart problems. Well, it can happen in those without them. It also has increased, they say it may increase the risk of hospitalization for heart failure patients. So there's a lot out there, a lot of information, and they really wanted to get the word out to people. And so you are going to see changes to the labeling to most of these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs.
Dr. Joe, you know, really very interesting. A lot of people may not know the difference between, let's say, aspirin, NSAIDs, and ibuprofen. They don't know when to take one or the other. Can you break it down for us?
You know, it's really tough, and I'm probably going to confuse you more, but I really need to tell you this. If you are taking an aspirin a day, your doctor's told you that to prevent stroke or heart attack, and you take like ibuprofen or Aleve or another drug, you may be negating the benefit that you're getting from the aspirin. So you do not want to mix them. You're going to have to look at your labels, because cough and cold medications, sometimes they'll include a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. It may say ibuprofen, it may say naproxen, acetaminophen. If you take that, then you take something else for pain, and you're doubling up. You're then again increasing your risk. So it's really going to mean that you're going to have to read the labels, and I think that by strengthening those labels, the FDA is going to help us out by not having that problem. Now, as far as what to take when you have a headache or you have a problem, they still say that you can take these drugs, but take them in the lowest dose possible that's going to give you the effect that you need. Try to limit the amount. Don't overuse them. Don't use them just because you think you're going to prevent something. And if you're taking them on a regular basis, you probably need to start talking to your doctor. Find out if there's an alternative for you. I mean, can you exercise, yoga? There's lots of things out there. As far as taking Tylenol instead, well, Tylenol is not in that category, but there are other warnings that go along with acetaminophen or the Tylenol type products. You have concerns about your liver, drinking while you're taking them, alcohol, interactions. So those, you know, there is no perfect drug, unfortunately.
Right.
And even though they're over the counter and you think that they may be more safe, they're still going to carry some side effects.
Yeah, especially for people who are taking, as you said, a lot of them on a daily basis. Talk to your doctor, read those labels. You're not saying don't take an aspirin a day, but definitely discuss this with your physician and read those labels.
Right. If you are currently taking an aspirin a day and your doctor has told you to do that, don't stop, because aspirin is really not on that list. And that is, you know, thank you for making that point. That is very, very important.
Dr. Joe, thank you for all of that great information. We appreciate your time this morning joining us from Tampa. All right, the time now is 8:26, and coming up on Good Day Atlanta, what do you need to know before you sign a lease? Real estate expert John Adams has the top 5 things the landlord might not be telling you. Hi, John.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gervier, if you stood in front of the green screen, you would appear naked on TV.
Yes, I would. Woohoo! Welcome back. The time now is 8:28. Here's the latest on this morning's top stories. President Obama calls a deal to limit Iran's nuclear program a step in the right direction. In remarks this morning at the White House, the president said curbing Iran's nuclear program was a matter of national security. The deal would prevent Iran from obtaining the material to make nuclear weapons. It would also allow UN inspections of previously restricted areas in Iran. Now, police say a MARTA employee was ambushed and shot last night shortly after getting off work. They say 2 men approached the woman outside her home in southeast Atlanta, and when she told the robbers she didn't have any money or anything valuable, police say the robbers shot her. Severe weather yesterday is being blamed for at least 1 death in Kentucky. The system pushed through the country's midsection with tornadoes, heavy rain, lightning, and hail, and there is potential for severe weather in North Georgia later today.
All right, coming up on 8:30, hanging out with Joanne over in the Fox 5 Storm Center. What's the old saying? It's not the heat, it's the humidity.
Right.
We get both.
We get both. Right? Yeah. That's our favorite
combination. I don't care which one it is.
Right? And if we get in, well, when we get storms, not if, when we get storms to cool you off, then you've got to worry about severe weather. So
this should be a fun day.
I know. I don't really have much good news to offer you here, unfortunately. The only good news I have is that we will get through most of this day before severe weather is a concern. So storms will hold off at least until late afternoon. More than likely for most of us, it's not until this evening as we're approaching and getting past sunset. So a stormy evening for the metro area. Still expecting that wind and hail will be the primary reasons we would get warnings, but we cannot rule out an isolated tornado. It's not particularly likely to happen, but getting a storm or two to rotate is something that we need to keep a watch on. Staying steamy, though. It's already steamy this morning, and even once we lose the storm threat within the next couple of days, the afternoons will only get hotter. So here's a look at the satellite and radar picture. We do have some high clouds overhead. That's why the skies look fairly hazy now. It's not going to prevent the temperatures from rising quickly into the low 90s. I think we'll be there by noon, if not sooner, and we'll stay there for the rest of the day. Next weather system will be taking shape back here to our northwest and diving in our direction by late afternoon and evening. So here are our current temperatures. 82 LaGrange, that's easily the warmest, but several more spots from Atlanta southward and extending eastward will be into the low 80s, more than likely within the hour. But then when we go through the hour by hour forecast, you see these storms rolling across Tennessee. Well, they arrive in northwest Georgia roughly around 5 o'clock this evening, although I have to point out that computer forecast models typically have a really difficult time timing these types of weather systems. So the time frame can be adjusted by a couple of hours, either earlier or later. So stay aware of that. Make sure you have a way to get warnings and you have a safe place to go if warnings are issued. There's 8 o'clock this evening, kind of focused right there along the I-20 corridor, right over Atlanta out to Athens, and then sinking southward a few hours after that. This doesn't mean it's quiet all night long. You see a couple of thunder showers that will roll through before daybreak on Wednesday. But in your Fox 5 Storm Team AccuWeather forecast, tomorrow's rain risk is really just on the south side of town after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, we could still see some severe storms tomorrow, but the threat is much greater for today and tonight. Then we get to those hotter temperatures Friday and Saturday. Not much stormy weather this weekend. We can't rule out a pop-up storm on Sunday and then also again on Monday. The time right now is 8:32. Katie Beasley is off today, so I've got a look at Skyfox traffic, and it is thick heading west across the top end perimeter. 25 minutes. That's what it'll take you to get from I-85 to Georgia 400. Then the west wall from I-20 to I-75. That is a 17-minute trip time. The downtown connector from Langford Parkway to Brookwood will run you 20 minutes. Buck?
Thank you, Joanne. You find the perfect home or apartment rental. The location, it's great. The price is right, and they've just renovated it, so it's like new. You're ready to sign that lease, but you get the impression that the landlord isn't telling you everything. Well, guess what? You're probably right. Here to tell us what we're not being told is our Fox 5 real estate expert, John Adams. John, welcome. Always good to see you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, break this down for us. John Q. landlord. He's holding back, right? Is he breaking the law?
Well, he's not actually breaking the law. There's a big difference between things that your landlord should tell you or that every renter should know and what than breaking the law. And so it's not really breaking the law, but these are things you really ought to push for and know about as you approach a lease arrangement.
We're talking about 5 things, so let's go ahead and start. What's number 1?
Number 1's a biggie because this is so important when we want to get our security deposit back at the end of the lease, and it's a written move-in inspection. The landlord must give you a written move-in inspection, and in addition to that, you have the right to verify that that move-in inspection is correct. Buck, this will be the document that is used at the end of the lease to determine whether or not damages have occurred. So if you don't get one of these, you're off to a bad start.
So we should require that before we pay any security deposit?
Absolutely. Don't give them a penny until you've got some sort of indication of what condition is the property in now, and it must be in writing.
All right, what's number 2?
Number 2, it's important that the landlord fulfill his obligations, and the primary obligation of the landlord is, in fact, to repair anything that goes on with the property. And it must be made in a timely manner. That's a very important word. What does timely mean? Well, it means different things to different people, but it certainly means that they have to make good faith efforts to make these repairs. We've all had a situation when we're renting, the air conditioning breaks, the roof starts to leak, and the landlord says, I don't have the money, or I can't get to it this month. That is not legal. They've got to make good faith efforts, and if they're not doing this, you need to document that so that in the event, hopefully it won't happen, but in the event that you have to go into court or withhold rent, you have documentation.
All right, 2 down, 3 to go. Let's talk about number 3.
Number 3 is interesting because the landlord must not invade your privacy. Now, this is a little tricky, but the key here is that when you rent a property, whether it's an apartment or a house, you are inheriting what's called the right of quiet enjoyment. And that says you get to live there quietly and peaceably, and the landlord can't be bothering you all the time, knocking on the door at 9 o'clock at night saying, I want to do a surprise inspection. That's not legal. Now, it's offset a little bit because the landlord does have a right to protect the property, which means if the landlord reasonably believes that there might be a fire or a threat to life or property, if they have to, they can break the door down. But certainly, you should always ask for an appointment before the landlord comes over, of course, unless there's an emergency.
And there's no right to quiet enjoyment for a homeowner with 3 kids, right?
I think the enjoyment part is there,
yeah,
maybe not quiet. That's exactly right.
How about number 4?
Number 4, your landlord must return your security deposit when you move out. Now, that's a surprise to a lot of people, but the law in Georgia presumes that when you move out, you're leaving it in the same condition it was when you moved in, normal wear and tear accepted. Now, assuming you got your move-in inspection, that should be relatively easy to determine. So that's why number 1 is so important. But they have to, within 30 days, either give you your money back or explain why they have not done that. So they are required to go through a procedure where they give you your money back, and they're required to return all of it if they can't prove what the damages were.
And finally, number 5.
Finally, number 5. Your landlord must give you a move-out inspection in writing. And this is real interesting. The legislature was so adamant about this, about making sure the security deposit was dealt with properly, that they included in the law a provision that says if your landlord improperly withholds any of the security deposit, then that landlord can be liable for up to treble or 3 times the amount improperly withheld as damages. So you're going to get, hopefully, a move-out inspection, and hopefully you'll check it to make sure it's right. You shouldn't have to pay for anything that's not your fault.
Scared to ask this, but are there exceptions?
Unfortunately, yes. There are exceptions, and we're going to be talking about those on our Facebook chat. Smaller landlords, some of these requirements don't apply to.
Okay. Now, if you have real estate questions, you are in luck. As John mentioned, he will be sticking around to chat with viewers on the Fox 5 Atlanta Facebook page, so post your questions, and he will give you a quick answer. 8:37 is your time coming up on Good Day Atlanta. The rapper known for the motto, get rich or die trying, files for bankruptcy. Plus this.
Good morning, guys. All right, she's a singer-songwriter, Grammy-nominated record producer, a star on Oprah's TV network, but most importantly to me this morning, she's making breakfast. It's Molly Hunter, live at Tree Sound Studios. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry, I can't stand it. Stay tuned.
It's your birthday, we gon' sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give a fuck, it's like your birthday. You'll find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Look, mommy, I got the hits, so get into taking drugs. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, get into getting rough. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Look, mommy, I got the hits, so get into taking drugs. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, get into getting rough. When I pull up out front, you see the Benz on dub. When I roll 20 deep, it's 29s in the club. Niggas heard I fuck with Dre, now they wanna show me love. When you sound like Eminem and the O's, they wanna fuck. But homie, ain't nothing changed, hold down, G's up. I see exhibit in the cut, they nigga roll that weed up. You watch how I move, you mistake before I play up here. Been go, 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 shorty. It's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give a fuck, it's like your birthday. You'll find me.
Rapper 50 Cent has filed for bankruptcy protection.
The filing in Hartford, Connecticut lists both his assets and liabilities as between $10 million and $50 million. It comes days after a jury ordered him to pay $5 million in an invasion of privacy lawsuit. A woman claimed he added himself as a crude commentator on a video she made with her boyfriend and posted it online without her permission. 50 Cent's real name is Curtis Jackson III. Last year, Forbes magazine named him as one of the richest hip-hop artists.
50 Cent just sounds more hip, doesn't it?
Yeah. She's a Grammy-nominated producer, personal chef, and the creative force behind Atlanta's incredibly successful Tree Sound Studios. And next, you'll be seeing a lot of her on television.
Molly Hunter will play a big part in the second season of Flex and Shanice. The popular reality show just returned to Oprah's own TV network this past weekend. Good Day Atlanta's Paul Milliken is live at Tree Sound Studios this morning. This is a woman who's got a lot of talents, including cooking.
Yes, good morning. Wait a minute, what is happening here? Blaze is somehow balancing the camera. He's hands-free camera work.
He's got skills,
Blaze,
man.
we have a show to do here. We have a show before you can eat, all right? Food comes later. Although I will say, when you're at Tree Sound Studios, hanging out with Molly Hunter, who's already pouring drinks, this is why I love here. There's always food going on here. You're always cooking for everyone who works here, right?
For me, yeah.
I know you haven't slept yet, have you?
Nope.
Which, by the way, the reason she hasn't slept, she's just back from LA where you've been having all kinds of meetings because Molly Hunter, who I know it's not true, but I'm just taking credit for discovering you because, you know, we've been with you for time now, right?
Yeah, you found me.
Totally me and Clive Davis is the two of us.
Yeah.
You're on TV now in a big way on Flex and Shanice. Tell me about this. How did this happen?
Well, I met Flex through Terry Vaughn, a very good friend of mine who's an actress.
Yeah.
And he said, help my wife. She's an awesome singer.
Yeah.
And I met her, and she's an awesome singer.
Yeah.
So we
And now
started
you're-
working, and all
yeah.
of a sudden they have a show that's amazing.
Yep.
And I'm on the show.
Yeah, so we want to show you some clips from the show. And on the show, folks are going to see Shanice, who, of course, is an amazing singer, like you said, here at Tree Sound Studios, working with you and Neo on her upcoming album. What's it been like recording with Neo and with Shanice? How's the process gone?
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Izzy, the producer, came in, which is, where is Izzy? Is he anywhere to be found? We'll find
You
him
got a
in the
whole
studio.
crowd around here waiting to
Find
eat.
him in the
Yeah,
studio later.
yeah.
But yeah, it's been amazing. Neo was awesome. Shanice is just easy to work with. She's super kind, super humble, super nice. So, and her voice is bigger than life.
Yeah.
So,
And I heard a rumor later this morning we may get like a sneak peek of the music that nobody's heard
actually,
yet.
they're finishing the master and the mix right now to
Yeah.
go to radio.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear Shanice.
I
song, Turn Up
cannot wait. This is amazing. What is it like for you having this relationship now with Oprah's network? Like, what a cool thing to be part of.
Surreal,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
She's my hero. I grew
Yeah.
up in Chicago, so like
Yeah.
having Oprah. I mean, walking in the OWN network, I looked like this, but I was really like,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
like
You've
that.
got to keep it all composed. All right. Well.
excited.
I love your music, a Grammy-nominated producer. We love everything you're doing. But can we just get to the food for a minute and talk about what you cook? Because Molly, you're an incredible chef too. breakfast. What do we got this morning?
Your guy's eating all the Cholula, so I had to hide it.
Blaze put down the Cholula.
This is what I made for you. I made you huevos rancheros. I made my own garlic tomato sauce.
Look at this. This is
So
beautiful.
it's a tostada with some beans and eggs. Do you like them scrambled?
You know I like everything. It doesn't matter.
Okay, cool. Some organic tomatoes and some fresh potatoes. So yeah, but I made some chicken too.
And there's a lot of food here. In fact, there would be enough food that I would bring this back for my good friends Buck and Gravere. Problem is, we got a whole crowd of producers here that have been working all night, and sorry guys, they come first. So once the Tree Sounds crew eats, you know, if there's anything left over, I'll be happy to hook you up. We'll see.
I'm counting on it.
And I'm just glad to see Blaze is eating. He's gotten so lean and mean. It was good to see him eating out there.
Yes.
Thank
you, Paul.
Paul, thanks a lot. 8:45 is your time, and coming up on Good Day Atlanta is beginning to look a lot like the holiday shopping season. But hey, it's only July. More retailers join the Black Friday style price war.
I'm looking for a smart woman in a real short skirt.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Good morning. Welcome back. We're coming up on 8:48, and that is a live view from our Fox 5 net cam from Georgia Power with our hazy sunshine and our steamy morning eventually giving way to a stormy afternoon and evening. This is a severe weather risk, unlike what we've seen over the last few days, even though we had some risk yesterday. Today, we will see more numerous storms, and some of them will be stronger. What we see so far this morning on Fox 5 Live Viper is one batch of storms that will really not have much of an impact on us at all. That's kind of diving down into western North Carolina. We will eventually see more development back here that can come into northwest Georgia, but that's not until maybe 5 p.m. or later. So we're talking metro area not getting storms until perhaps close to sunset. Here's a look at the warm up so far. 80s on the map from LaGrange, Griffin, Eatonton to Macon. Pretty close to those 80-degree numbers right there in town, and then we cool to 72. That's what you'll find in Blairsville. But let's talk about that severe weather risk. The reason today is different is we're high higher on the severe weather risk scale. The orange represents an enhanced risk of severe storms. What's the difference between that and the yellow? That's a slight risk. Well, both areas can get damaging winds, large hail, possibly an isolated tornado. But if we're going to see multiple warnings, we would see more of them in the area outlined in orange. So if you're north of that Rome to Athens line, the storms might be a little more powerful and cover more areas than they will once they get to Atlanta. But bottom line is everyone in the Fox 5 viewing area does face the possibility of getting a severe storm. So here's the timeline. We go to noon today. We're still storm free. Some spots on the south side are in the 90s. Most of us are still in the 80s, but we'll get to the 90s this afternoon. And since the humidity is so high, 92 or 93 degrees may feel like it's 100. The heat index will be in the triple digits in many spots. Here come the storms, 5 p.m., 8 p.m. They are right over metro Atlanta. A couple of hours later, they are moving on out for the night. So your Fox 5 Storm Team AccuWeather forecast, the chance that you get one of these storms in your location is 40%. So some areas will not get a storm, even though that severe weather risk is fairly high. Tomorrow, a 30% chance of an afternoon storm, and then we even lose that for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But the 90s are not going anywhere all the way through Monday of next week. We do have one more look at SkyFox traffic for you now. We're going to start with the downtown connector. And this is a peak near University Avenue. It's a 15-minute ride from Langford Parkway to Brookwood. 85 south from 316 to 285 is a 26-minute trip time. And then Georgia 400 from Old Milton Parkway to the top end is 35 minutes. Meanwhile, 75 south from Wade Green to the perimeter is going to run you 23 minutes.
All right, let's see. It's in the mid-90s. Christmas is 5 months away, and already retailers are offering Black Friday type deals.
But they're also running the risk of tiring out shoppers long before the holiday season even begins. For the 6th year in a row, Target is going to hold its Black Friday in July sale this week, joining the likes of Amazon, Walmart, Macy's, and JCPenney. All of those companies using terms like doorbuster, webbuster, one-day sale, Super Saturday, thinking they're going to entice in those shoppers. Industry experts say retailers traditionally get about 30% of their annual sales and 40% of profits from holiday shopping revenue. The concern is that offering those deals in July could end up hurting the bottom line when the real holiday shopping season begins.
So that brings us to today's hot topic question. Do you plan to go holiday shopping in July? We want to bring in Ron and Karen now for our discussion. I think I know your answer. I'm not sure about you two.
Oh, actually, I am.
Oh, are you? I'm wrong.
But it's for my daughter's birthday.
Okay.
I got 2 daughters'
All right.
birthdays at the end.
There's a caveat there, yeah.
Exactly.
And well, that's perfect timing for you then.
Yeah, and I really don't want to go shopping, but
Right.
I'm going to do a little bit of it for them. But there's no way I'm going to do shopping for Christmas in July. There's just no way.
No.
And there's other products that may come out in the next month or two that you can get later on.
Right.
So you kind of wait to see the whole allotment of toys and
If I bought Christmas in July, I'd want to give it to them before Christmas.
Yeah,
Hold on to that for
Can't
5
keep a
months.
secret.
You kidding me?
Well, I'm an early shopper. I mean, I shop in January, but only because that's when the real deals
the real
are.
deals,
Because
yes.
that's when they're trying to clear out the shelves to get ready for the spring.
Yep.
You can rack up for the year, and I can hold it for 12 months because I've saved so much money. And words like doorbuster and Super Saturday, theater of the mind. It's not, no, until you say closeout prices or going out of business, you know, that type of price, that's when you're saving. But that stuff right there, that doesn't draw me at all.
I probably will shop on Cyber Monday.
I was
wondering. Well, because I don't have to go anywhere.
You know, here's the thing. I used to think, oh, if something big went on sale, I used to think, okay, I need to go out and get it now. But then you realize it's going to be on sale again.
Yes.
They'll call it something else, but there's going to be another
they
sale.
will, yeah.
Now I know why Karen always gives me last year's style. Next
year,
but that's another story. All right.
Savings. Listen, join in on this discussion about, you know, what you think about these Christmas and July sales. Post your answers on our Facebook page or Twitter. We will share some of your comments in the 9 o'clock hour.
All right, 8:53 is your timing coming up on Good Day Atlanta. And Atlanta fast food chain is expecting a stampede of people dressed as cows today. I think you know what we're talking about.
Who doesn't love a free meal? Well, today at Chick-fil-A restaurants, you can get just that, but you have to do one thing.
You got to dress like a cow. If you go all out and dress from head to hoof, you'll be rewarded with a free meal. But for customers who are a little bit chicken and just have a spotted accessory, you can still get a free entree. The offer is going on all day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow.
And for more information, just check out the Good Day Atlanta section on the Fox 5 app.
Might have to dig up some costumes for those girls and head to our local Chick-fil-A.
Sounds pretty good.
All right. That's going to wrap up this hour of Good Day Atlanta. Karen's in with a check of what we have coming up at 9.
Karen, good morning.
Hey, Buck. Hey, Gavir. Coming up on Good Day Atlanta at 9, a police officer comes to the rescue of a driver in Texas performing the Heimlich maneuver right on the side of the highway. And look at that. It's all caught on camera. Plus this.
A MARTA worker walking home from her job is surprised, then shot by 2 crooks. I'm Good Day's Caitlin Pratt. Those developing details ahead.
Good morning. From Fox 5 News, this is Good Day Atlanta at 9 a.m.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Atlanta at 9. I'm Karen Graham. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday morning. New this morning, world powers reach a historic agreement with Iran to limit its nuclear program. President Obama says the deal is not built on trust, but on verification. And then Georgia is one of the leading states for teen pregnancies. Well, now these teens and their parents are out to make sure they do not become another statistic. The Fox Medical team goes behind the scenes of a successful teen pregnancy prevention program. And severe weather has hit hard across the country. North Georgia could face damaging storms later today. Joanne Feldman is tracking the threat. All of that in this hour of Good Day. But first this hour, a MARTA employee is in the hospital and police are looking for the 2 men who shot her during an attempted robbery. Good Day's Caitlin Pratt has the latest from Grady Memorial Hospital.
This was a vicious attack. This woman told the 2 crooks she didn't have anything to give. They shot her anyway, not once, but twice.
A bag dropped during an early morning scuffle in southeast Atlanta.
She noticed him once she got in her driveway.
That bag's owner now in the hospital, ambushed while walking home from work.
She had just gotten off the MARTA bus. She was headed home, and she was approached while she was in her driveway.
2 men, she told police, demanding whatever valuables she had.
Once she told them that she didn't have anything, they shot her. She was shot at least one time in the abdomen.
This victim, police say, a MARTA worker in her late 30s. She was able to tell officers what her attackers looked like.
The suspects were described as 2 black males. One was tall with a low haircut, and the other one was described as being chubby with dreadlocks.
With nothing to show for their attempt, the 2 took off running. Atlanta police spent the morning collecting fingerprints, hoping to find the bold, young suspects described as in their late teens or early 20s.
This victim was able to make it to a neighbor's house for help, even though she had been shot twice, once in the abdomen, the other in the back. She's in surgery here at Grady Memorial Hospital in stable condition. That's the very latest here in downtown Atlanta. I'm Caitlin Pratt for Good Day Atlanta.
Take a look at this video just into the Fox 5 newsroom from Johnson County, Kentucky. A house literally crumbles as it is washed under a bridge by rushing flood waters. At least 1 person is dead and others are unaccounted for in the state after a storm system pushed through the country's mixed section with tornadoes, heavy rain, lightning, and hail. There are fears of more flooding today. Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Joanne Foreman is here now with a look at our AccuWeather forecast, and when she goes, Debbie, that says a lot.
Right, and even here at home, I mean, there are numerous days in the summertime that we're talking about, okay, we could get a couple of severe thunderstorms, but we're a little higher on the risk scale today. So let's break it down, give you an idea of what we're going to expect. We've got several hours to go, so that's the good news. I think we'll get all the way through the morning and most of the afternoon before anything really happens. But let's go through the different threats, because there are multiple threats today. Any storm, severe or not, can bring heavy rain and frequent lightning. But this is the outlook for the possibility of damaging winds. This is the main threat, the main reason we would get any warnings today. And outlined in red from roughly Rome to Athens northward, that is a 30% risk that your storms will bring those damaging winds of 60 miles per hour or greater. It does fall down to 15% around most of metro Atlanta heading into middle Georgia, but that's a high enough risk. We're getting a couple of warnings is a pretty good possibility. Now, tornado risk. This has been updated by the Storm Prediction Center to take that slightly higher 5% risk and lift it outside of the state. But what you do see outlined in green all the way through Atlanta is a 2% risk of a tornado. That's not a very big risk, but it's also not zero. And that's what I want you to be mindful of. In the meantime, it's just really humid. We're warming up. Now we're seeing more 80s on our map. We are right at 80 in Atlanta, 81 from Athens to Eatonton, and now a warm 85 in LaGrange. That's going to be one of the first spots to get into the low 90s, although I think all of us will do it before the day is over. And this weather pattern is one where we see numerous weather systems that produce big clusters of thunderstorms kind of diving down from the northwest. The latest is missing us, but the one that follows this is the one that impacts us before we get to sunset. So the timing in our hour-by-hour forecast still really pinpointing somewhere between 4 and 5 p.m. Those first storms are coming into North Georgia by 6 o'clock this evening, making some progress maybe toward Cherokee County, near Rome also. 6 o'clock this evening. Now it's coming through the northern suburbs. It will be situated right over metro Atlanta from 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. And this batch may move on pretty quickly, leaving just a few stray showers or thunder showers late tonight. But the chance that those late night showers or thunder showers are severe is much lower than anything we'll see early in the evening. So here is your Fox 5 Storm Team AccuWeather forecast. Be aware, the one thing that we're not terribly confident on is timing. That can change. It can arrive a little bit earlier or a little bit later. Just make sure you're staying aware to the changing weather today and have a way to get warnings and be prepared to take shelter if a warning is issued for your location. But your Fox 5 Storm Team AccuWeather forecast erases the storms for Thursday, Friday and Saturday, but does not erase the heat. We're still on track for some of the hottest temperatures so far this summer from Friday into the first half of the weekend. Karen?
Joanne, thank you. Let's get more of the morning's headlines from Good Day Atlanta's Gavir Dinza. Gavir, good morning.
Karen, good morning to you. There is new video which shows negotiators taking a group photo veto after reaching a landmark deal to curb Iran's nuclear threat overnight. The accord will cripple Iran's ability to produce a nuclear weapon for at least 10 years. It will also provide new provisions for UN inspections at Iranian facilities, including military sites. And in return, economic sanctions will be lifted, but a UN arms embargo will stay in place at least for now. In remarks at the White House this morning, President Obama stressed the importance of reaching this agreement through negotiation.
This deal offers an opportunity to move in a new direction. We should seize it.
Now, this agreement still has to have a stamp of approval from Congress. The president has vowed to veto any measure to block it. DeKalb County police are searching for a gunman who shot and wounded a man and a woman overnight. It happened on East Drive in Decatur. Investigators say they found the victims in the street. We're told the gunman shot the man 3 times. The woman was shot in the arm. Both were taken to a local hospital. We're told the man is in critical condition. The woman's injuries are not life-threatening. Right now, police are trying to figure out what led to the shooting. DeKalb County police are hoping surveillance video will help them catch a killer. 53-year-old Harry Wells was gunned down while working at the Exxon gas station near Memorial Drive and Covington Highway. Police say early yesterday, somebody came into the convenience store and shot Wells. Customers who knew Wells call him kind and giving. A 23-year-old man will be in a Massachusetts federal courtroom today facing terrorism charges. Anthony Chicolo was arrested after buying guns from a federal informant. He was under investigation because his father heard him talk about supporting the Islamic State. His father, Robert Chicolo, is a captain with the Boston Police Department.
It's a terrible tragedy for the family. Bob is a tremendous police officer. He's had a distinguished career over the last 25 years. Just a very impressive guy, and to have this hit his own family is terrible.
The day before his arrest, federal agents monitored Chicolo as he bought a pressure cooker similar to the one used in the Boston Marathon bombings. Lawyers are scheduled to make closing arguments in the Colorado movie theater shooting trial. Prosecutors say defendant James Holmes is a cold, calculating killer. The defense paints him as somebody so overcome by psychosis that he could no longer tell right from wrong. 12 people were killed, 70 wounded in that shooting in 2012. New York City has reached a settlement with the family of Eric Garner. Mr. Garner died in police custody last July after he was taken to the ground in what appeared to be a chokehold. The family originally asked for $75 million. They settled for nearly $6 million. No charges were filed against the officers involved. There's been a major turn of events in the investigation of a California kidnapping. Federal prosecutors have announced charges against a man accused in the kidnapping of Denise Huskins. It comes after Vallejo police labeled her kidnapping as a hoax. The allegations against Matthew Mueller were in an affidavit that was unsealed yesterday. Vallejo police have not commented on the federal charges. FBI agents say they recently discovered evidence that they believe connected Mueller to the kidnapping after police arrested him for another home invasion robbery. Well, you can now scratch Pluto off the list of unexplored places in the solar system. The NASA aircraft New Horizons has just flown within 7,800 miles of the dwarf planet. It's been 9 years since the probe blasted off for its encounter with a distant body. At the time, Pluto was still considered a planet. It's now classified as a dwarf planet, and NASA expects to see photos from that flyby sometime this evening. We can't wait either.
Oh, yeah. The inner nerd in me is very happy right now.
We love it.
That's
9 minutes after 9, Karen, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Gavir. Coming up on Good Day Atlanta, caught on camera, a routine traffic stop turns into a life-saving rescue right on the side of a Texas highway. Plus, a teenager survives a plane crash and then hikes through the wilderness for days to get help. Welcome back. 9:12 is your time. There has been an amazing development after a plane disappeared on its way from Montana to Washington. A 16-year-old girl who was aboard that plane has been found safe. She managed to hike out of the rugged mountains of north central Washington state. Her father says she told him that the plane crashed and caught fire after flying into a bank of clouds. She stayed at the crash site for a day before going to get help. A driver picked her up on the side of the road yesterday and drove her to a general store.
We have a young woman here who is being interviewed by law enforcement and attended to by medics. She walked in and she seems very disoriented.
The teenager doesn't have any life-threatening injuries. The two other people on board the plane were the girl's step-grandparents, and the search continues today to find them and the wreckage. An officer came to the rescue of a driver choking on a biscuit. He performed the Heimlich maneuver right on the side of the highway. It is all caught on camera, and Foxy's Ashley Paredes has the story.
A traffic stop turns into a life-saving moment.
Get it? Did you get it?
For the woman's father, an Austin police detective, he is forever grateful, especially knowing one of his brothers in blue did the saving.
I gave him a hug.
This dash cam video shows exactly what happened last Sunday. APD senior police officer Dustin Clinkscales was headed west on Ben White Boulevard. After seeing a woman on the phone, he turns on flashing lights. But take a look at this. As the officer approaches, the woman begins to open her door. She has her hands over her throat. That's when Officer Clinkscales realizes the woman is choking. He gets her out of the car and begins to perform the Heimlich maneuver. After several attempts, the object is dislodged. Then the woman faints.
Well, this will be, an example of what officers do every day. They step up to the moment, they help save lives, they do the job they need to do, whether it is a use of force or it is saving someone from choking.
We're told the woman was choking on a biscuit. Austin Travis County EMS transported her to a nearby hospital. They say if not for Officer Clinkscales' quick, fast actions, she would most certainly have had a negative outcome.
The first thing she said was she pointed to Officer Clinkscale and said, "That officer saved my life."
She had tried calling 911 but couldn't speak. First responders say it's important for the public to also know how to handle situations like this. In Sunday's case, the officer was at the right moment at the right time.
Well, my daughter she's very thankful. And she says she was lucky he was there.
Amazing. That was Fox's Ashley Paredes reporting. Let's check in with Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Joanne Feldman for another check of our forecast as we're now preparing for the possibility of severe weather coming our way.
And a greater possibility, Karen, than we've seen in several days. Even though we had some risk yesterday, the risk is higher. The storms will be more numerous. We didn't have too much popping up yesterday, but take a look this morning. It's nice and quiet right now. We certainly have the humidity in place to fuel some big downpours. It's been a muggy morning with dew points in the low 70s. That's feeling like tropical air, and it's 80 degrees this early in the day. West wind at 8 miles an hour. That's helping out a little bit. The breeze feels pretty good, but here's what you need to know about severe weather risks going into the late afternoon and throughout most of the evening. Now, heavy rain, frequent lightning, that's pretty likely in many areas today. That's not where you get warnings. The warnings will come from either severe thunderstorms because of damaging wind or hail, so those are the greatest risk. And while the tornado threat is low, we could see an isolated tornado. So please stay aware. Please have a way to get warnings. If you've got your free Fox 5 Storm Team app on your smartphone, you can take it with you and get warnings for your specific location. So just stay aware of how things are changing today. There it goes, and it blasts by pretty quickly. Came into the northwest corner of Georgia by about 5 o'clock today. By 9 o'clock this evening, that first round is gone. I do believe it's kind of situated right over Metro Atlanta about 7 o'clock in the evening, but I also have to tell you that it is entirely possible that the timing on this changes by a couple of hours, and then even after midnight we can have a few more thunder showers passing you by. I just think those will wrap up maybe a couple of hours before the sun comes up tomorrow. As far as the warm up today, as fast as we're warming up, we're probably at 91 degrees by 1 o'clock. We'll rise to 93 for our high today, so we're a bit above average. In addition to that, though, the humidity is going to make it feel like it's closer to 100 or even over 100 in some spots. So take it easy in the heat and be aware of severe storms. There's your Fox 5 Storm Team AccuWeather forecast. Not as many storms tomorrow. Most of those happen after 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and mainly on the south side of town. The rest of us will be drying out and we'll stay dry heading into the weekend, but we're going to stay really hot too. The warmest days are Friday and Saturday. Karen?
All right, Joanne. And Joanne's forecast reminds us that it's hot. Christmas is 5 months away, and we're already seeing retailers offering Black Friday type deals, but they're also running the risk of tiring out shoppers long before the holiday season starts. For the 6th year in a row, Target will hold its Black Friday in July sale this week, joining the likes of Amazon, Walmart, Macy's, and JCPenney, who are all using terms like doorbuster, web buster, one-day sale, and Super Saturday, trying to get those shoppers through the doors. Industry experts say retailers traditionally get 30% of their annual sales and 40% of profits from holiday shopping revenue. And so the concern is that offering deals in July could end up hurting the bottom line when the real holiday shopping season begins. And that brings us to today's hot topic question. Do you plan to go holiday shopping in July? There's a recurring theme on our Facebook page, kind of a resounding no. Although Anita says my son's birthday was July 10th, school starts August 6th in Carroll County, so that's where my shopping priorities lie right now. I'll definitely be taking advantage of the prices, just not for Christmas. Well, then Sydney says, nope, who has got money to shop? Lucky if I can pay the bills. I feel you, Sydney. And then Michelle says, July, can we get past summer vacations first? Who has money to shop right now? Tell us what you think on our Fox 5 Atlanta Facebook page or tweet us at Good Day Atlanta, and hopefully I'll be able to read a few more of your responses a little bit later in the show. It is exactly 9:19 and still ahead on Good Day Atlanta. What do you do if you get locked inside a store? We take video and post it on Facebook, of course, how this guy got stuck and how he got out, coming up.
We can walk down the road, we can watch cars and see.
Yeah. Okay, we're mobile. Can you still hear me? We're playing.
We can go back and watch and come sit.
Let's go back out. My reception is bad here with my earpiece. I think it's easiest out there. That's where I'm getting the best reception. Let's just go back out.
Yeah.
Back this way. Never mind. Now let's go into a. I mean, she's so talented anyway, but this finally really good, well-produced music again. You know?
Welcome back. 9:21 is your time. She's a Grammy-nominated producer, personal chef, and the creative force behind Atlanta's incredibly successful Tree Sound Studios. And you'll soon be seeing a lot of her on television. Molly Hunter will play a big part in the second season of Flex and Shanice. The popular reality show just returned to Oprah's own network. And Good Day Atlanta's Paul Milliken is live at Tree Sound Studio this morning. And Paul, this woman has more talent in her hair than most people have in their entire body.
Karen, am I good? Am I good? I don't have any
Have you been eating?
food around my
She
mouth
cooked
right
for
now,
you,
do
didn't
I?
she?
You know, we've done a little,
She cooked
little
for you.
eating this morning, just a little bit, Karen. She cooked a lot for us. You know Molly, she cooks an entire. It doesn't matter if there's one person or 1,000 people here. You're getting a feast when it comes to Molly Hunter. Hey, real quick, you know they say behind every great man is a great woman. So in the case of Lil Wayne, Justin Bieber, Akon, Drake, Elton John, this is the great woman, Molly. It's great to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
Can I just tell you that food was phenomenal?
Yeah, let me get this on.
Thank you very much. Thank you. She does it all, including my face cleaning me up. So let's talk about what you've got going on right now. Flex and Shanice season 2 is on OWN, and you're all over season 2. How did you get involved in this show?
Well, Flex called me about his wife and said, hey, man, can you help her? She can sing. And I said, oh, my God, she can sing her butt off. I'd love to help. So it just honestly came about by me helping her with her music. And all these guys here said yes. So they're all producing. And
can we just give a big shout out to the producers who have not slept, on the show, but you all have been up all night working. In fact, a minute ago, this was awesome. We were in the studio listening to one of the mixes of Shanice's song, and it's like goosebumps all over the body. I mean, that is crazy good music.
Lauren Watson and Izzy, the producer, they really went in. Izzy's on the clip with Neo, so that's fun. But the Justice League, the world famous Justice League, Needles, we've got some great people on the record, so I'm excited.
Yeah, we've got that clip too. I don't know if you've seen it at home already. If you haven't, we can play that clip and show you. Shanice here at Tree Sound Studios. There's always good stuff going on here at Tree Sound Studios, and you've been successful for so long. What is the key? Well, and you know what? I mean, in this town, everybody wants to have a big hit record in a big recording studio like this. What's the key to success, Molly?
I think Paul Diaz, the owner who built this place, he's such a humble, loving person, and if you didn't have $1 for a song, he'd let you come in, and if you had a small budget, he'd let you come in. I think it's karma. I think it's good energy, and we're a big family. These guys, we all eat together, we work together, we live together, so I think the vibes, family vibes. It's not just a recording studio that we want your money. It's like we help a lot of independent artists here.
And you can feel that when you walk in, and by the way, you can smell the food from the parking lot. That's how you know it's going to be a party when you walk in here. So let's talk about the status of Shanice's record real quick, because the show just premiered this past weekend. We're going to be seeing you basically like all through August,
I haven't slept. I just flew in on a red eye.
You look great for not having slept, by the way. Just got to say. So when is the album coming? Do we know yet?
So the album's coming. She's coming back down in August, and she's going to finish up. It's almost done. I mean, she knocks out so many songs, and she's just a natural. So you know, I'm excited.
And then I'm going to put you on the spot because you know I do this all the time. What about your music, young lady? Because we've heard you sing, and we know that you can sing.
It's coming. It's been a long time coming, actually. Groove Chambers is almost finished mixing, and I've just got to live with the songs a little bit, and I'm excited.
Well, when your album comes out, do you promise that me and Karen want to be part of the listening party?
I might put it on Instagram or Twitter.
Oh, come on, guys, get her into shape, please. Make her do some work in this studio, okay? All right, well, if you want to know more about Flex and Shanice Season 2, featuring Molly Hunter and the producers, we'll put some info on the viewer information story of our Fox 5 app. Okay, the 25th is your episode.
Every Saturday in August, so 5 episodes out of 8.
Because she's the boss right here. She's all over it. So, all right, Karen, I'm going to go eat some more, and you can drop by later, okay?
I know you are.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy, my friend. Oh, she's so talented. My goodness. Well, tomorrow morning on Good Day Atlanta, I scream, you scream, and cover your ears because Paul will definitely be screaming. At Cook Pines Farm in Eatonton, he'll have a preview of this weekend's inaugural ice cream festival, including an intense, high-stakes popsicle stick sculpture contest. You can stay connected with us throughout the day on Twitter. You can follow me at Karen G, and our newscast is on Twitter at Good Day Atlanta. 9:26 is your time, and coming up on Good Day, thieves steal a woman's car, a car that was given to her by her church. And the Fox medical team takes a look at a local program with a perfect track record of preventing teen pregnancies. Plus this.
This morning is hazy, warm, and humid, but it's all replaced by some stormy weather. Before the day is finished, we are tracking a severe weather risk for late today. I'll show you when those storms move in and what they'll bring coming up.
You're looking at a live picture from Georgia Power, looking directly at downtown Atlanta. Right now, not a cloud in the sky, but we know that will most likely change later today. Good morning and welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on Good Day Atlanta. I'm in the Fox 5 Storm Center with meteorologist Joanne Feldman. And here's the thing, you've kind of narrowed down the where to like a 30% margin of where it could happen, but it's the when that we're just like roll of the dice.
Yeah, I mean, the timing on these things gets really difficult, but we've got some good news. Well, I don't know if it's good news, but we can narrow down the timing finally as we're getting closer to this. So let's give you an idea of what to expect. I really do believe we can get through most of the afternoon storm free. But that means we've got plenty of time to watch the temperatures rise, the humidity to stay at uncomfortable levels. We're going to have the heat index near 100 until these storms kick in. When I say late afternoon, probably not a single storm before 4 or 5 p.m. And even then, that's in far north Georgia, meaning most of the metro area might not see much until within an hour or so of sunset. Damaging wind, large hail, those are going to be the primary threats, but that does not mean we cannot get an isolated tornado. There's a very small risk that that can happen too. So stay aware to all of the changing weather today. And also know, because the timing has been uncertain, it can still change a bit. We are not absolutely nailing down 5 to 10 p.m. for storms. It can happen a little bit earlier and also linger a bit later. And it's staying steamy. There's just no erasing that for the next several days. So what's going to happen next? We're going to keep our eyes on what's happening northwest of us as bigger storms start to develop, maybe across portions of Indiana, Kentucky, Kentucky, Tennessee, they'll start to move in our direction. Since they're not really out there yet, it makes it kind of difficult to time exactly when they'll get here. But here's what the temperatures have been doing in the meantime. Mid-70s in the mountains. Now we're seeing more low 80s than we are 70s. LaGrange, you just keep warming up so quickly. You're already at 87 this early in the morning. But here's the hour-by-hour forecast, and there go the storms rolling right across Tennessee. 5 o'clock today, they're covering northwest Georgia. That's when we can get those severe thunderstorm warnings or potentially a stray tornado warning. Going through 7 and 8 o'clock, that's when the focus is over metro Atlanta, moving eastward. I think this first batch kind of blasts on through and leaves a little bit of break here late tonight, but we can still have some stray thunderstorms passing by even past midnight. I just believe that those are gone before the sun rises tomorrow. Look at these temperatures today. This isn't the heat index. These are the temperatures alone. When you've got some numbers in the upper 90s, the heat index can and will be over 100. Not quite hot enough for a heat advisory, but still hot enough to be dangerous if you're going to be outside for an extended period of time. So there's your Fox 5 Storm Team AccuWeather forecast. Not too many storms tomorrow. They'll happen tomorrow after 2 p.m. That severe weather risk is a bit lower for Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I don't think we'll see storms, but we're definitely staying hot. The only relief is a couple of pop-up thunderstorms on Sunday and Monday. Karen?
All right, Joanne, thank you. 9:32 is your time, and the teen pregnancy rate in America is down, and that's good news, but many believe the numbers are still too high. The Children's Aid Society has created a special teen pregnancy prevention program in Metro Atlanta. It's being administered by Morehouse School of Medicine. The Fox Medical team got an inside look at how it works and how you can use it at home. Here's Fox 5's Kevin Stewart.
Any other ways to be intimate?
It's not just the birds and the bees.
Hugging, kissing,
smiling. It's what organizers at the Career Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program call an above-the-waist approach to sex education.
You can either choose life or learning.
Learning about everything, including possible careers, financial literacy, the arts.
Write down the first 10 things that come to mind when you hear that word.
And something 15-year-old Mela Jackson calls most important: how to set boundaries.
I learned how to say no and that not everything deserves a reaction.
Now, according to the CDC, a recent survey of high school students showed 34% had had sex within the past 3 months. The Cobb County teen tells us pressure from boys for sex can be strong.
I usually change the subject, but sometimes I let them know like the consequences behind it and why we shouldn't and stuff like that.
That's why the program starts in middle school. Ron Skeet is a program manager. He says some of the components here you can do at home, like good communication, be firm and warm with your child.
The statistics tells us, particularly when it comes to teen pregnancy, when parents share their values about sexuality and pregnancy with their young people, it makes more of a difference than their peers do. And when you're looking to live big, successful lives, you don't make short-sighted decisions, like decisions that could lead you to become pregnant as a child.
This group is 5 years in, and so far, there has not been one pregnancy.
I learned a lot from this class, and I'm grateful for all of it.
The program does not refer to these teens as at risk. Instead, they call them at promise. By the end of the summer, more than 150 teens will have graduated from the program. Right now, they're hoping to attract more grant money to see them through high school graduation and bring in another class. With the Fox Medical team, I'm Kevin Stewart.
Well, there is a risk of concussion in soccer, but it's not necessarily from heading the ball. Research by the University of Colorado finds about 1 in 4 soccer concussions happen during heading, but most of them are not caused by contact with the ball. They come from contact with another player while heading. The study finds most concussions are the result of rough play, which is prohibited by the rules of soccer, but has become much more common at all levels of the game. It's 9:35 now, and Good Day Atlanta's Gravir Denza is back now with more of the morning's top stories. Gravir, good morning.
Karen, good morning to you. The trial of admitted cop killer Jamie Hood continues today. Testimony took a dramatic turn yesterday inside an Athens Clark County courtroom. Hood, who's acting as his own lawyer, called to the stand the stepmother of one of the officers he shot in 2011. Jurors, however, were not permitted to hear Eileen Howard say she believed Hood's claims that Officer Tony Howard beat him years ago when Hood was an inmate at the Clark County Jail.
When I was talking to the law enforcement officer, I told him that I felt that you were telling the truth about Tony beating you up because he had beat me up.
During earlier testimony, Officer Howard denied beating Hood. Hood also called Howard's wife to the stand. Hood claims Howard carried a grudge against him because he discovered the two were having an affair before they were married. A worker at the DeKalb County Animal Shelter is recovering this morning over the weekend dog attack at work. We're told a dog became aggressive and mauled the woman. It took several employees to free the woman's arm from the dog's mouth. She was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital to be treated. The dog that attacked her was put down. The congregation of a Northwest Atlanta church chipped in to buy a car for a church member. The church wanted to help Rose Cherry because Mrs. Cherry was having trouble getting to services. But just 2 days after she received the car, she was driving with a friend when another driver rear-ended her. Well, the two women got out to investigate, and that's when a group of teens descended on them.
And when I turned around, the boy was in the car, and I said, Lord, they done stole this girl's car.
I don't want to press charges, I just want him the car back because it was a blessing from God.
The bishop at the church says he doesn't know how, but the congregation will find a way to replace the car. Some bold burglars are victimizing homeowners in East Atlanta. There have been 3 reports in the past week of thieves kicking in doors and stealing valuables. All of the thefts have happened in broad daylight, some of them as early as 7 o'clock in the morning.
First, ripped open the bedroom, pulled all the drawers out, clothes everywhere, night tables, pulled all the drawers out, emptied everything out, ripped up my bed.
We don't know why it's causing this street or this certain area all the time. Like, we just don't know, and it's scary.
Police are warning homeowners to keep a lookout. Police say it's not unusual for burglars to hit the same home 2 days in a row. Members of 2 Forsyth County churches are struggling to understand why they were targeted by vandals. The congregations discovered the damage over the weekend. At one church, vandals broke a window and turned 3 crosses upside down. At another church nearby, they pried open a sign and rearranged the letters to spell out Satan. Church officials call the damage at both churches significant.
Probably $1,500 for a small congregation. That's a hard amount to come up with. I don't see how they can lay down at night knowing that they have done something like this. They need a little more guidance in their life.
Church leaders are now urging those vandals to come forward and confess. There are concerns in one Southwest Atlanta neighborhood after a crew hired by the city paved over a water leak. A homeowner says a water meter was leaking before the crews came out to her street. A manager who supervises work for the private company involved told Fox 5 that they continued the work at the instruction of the Public Works Department. The homeowner thinks that decision is going to cause problems down the road.
I asked the supervisor, the contractors, I said, did you realize that the water was leaking? He said, yes. I said, if the water is leaking with an asphalt stick? He said, yes, but it'll crack eventually.
City Council member Michael Bond spoke with the homeowner and says he doesn't understand why that leak wasn't repaired first. A spokesperson for the mayor says the water leak will be fixed soon. In politics, another Republican has entered the 2016 presidential race. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker officially launched his campaign yesterday. He's vowing to fight for America's interests abroad and also for conservative policies in Washington. The 47-year-old is the 15th Republican to enter the race for the White House. 9:40, Karen, I will send it back to you.
All right, Kabir, thank you so much for that. Let's get to our hot topic. Retailers are in an all-out war for your business, and it's not even Christmas. Amazon says tomorrow's Prime Day will be bigger than Black Friday. Walmart and Target have launched counterattacks. In our hot topic, here's the question. Do you plan to go holiday shopping in July? Mary says, if you could put something you really want that's a big ticket item and put it on layaway, that would be awesome. But not for me. We have school starting, and sometimes getting ready for school is almost as bad as Christmas. And Deborah says, we will definitely be looking. If I see something that is truly a deal, then why not? Who doesn't like to save money? I know I do, Deborah. It's not too late to join the discussion. You can post your comment on Facebook.com/Fox5Atlanta, and you can also tweet us and follow us on Twitter at Good Day Atlanta. 9:40 is your time, and coming up on Good Day, he's known for the album Get Rich or Die Trying. Now rapper 50 Cent is filing for bankruptcy. We're going to hear from him next. Plus, Carrie Underwood's baby gets trapped inside a car when the family's dog accidentally locks the doors. Find out who came to the rescue next. Welcome back. 9:44 is your time. Rapper 50 Cent has filed for bankruptcy protection. The filing in Hartford, Connecticut lists both his assets and liabilities as between $10 million and $50 million. And this comes days after a jury ordered him to pay $5 million in an invasion of privacy lawsuit. A woman claimed he added himself as a crude commenter on a video she made with her boyfriend, and then he posted it online without her permission. 50 Cent's real name is Curtis Jackson III, and if you recall, last year Forbes magazine named him as one of the richest hip-hop artists.
They won't see any adjustments. You know, it'll be the same energy, and for me, a lot of people, I don't expect them to understand strategic business movements. Like I'm a target. I'm clear I'm a target, and I'm not gonna allow myself to just fall apart based on little things.
Well, since rising to fame with the song In the Club, 50 has expanded his business interests, including clothing and audio equipment. He owns a 50,000 square foot mansion in Connecticut and has a role in the upcoming boxing movie Southpaw. A coroner in Las Vegas has determined blues legend B.B. King died of Alzheimer's disease and other natural causes. The coroner says there's no evidence King was poisoned. King's two daughters had accused his manager and personal assistant of giving him poison before his death on May 14th. The coroner's ruling closes the official investigation into B.B. King's death. Well, it was quite the scare for new mom Carrie Underwood. She took to Twitter to say her dogs had locked themselves and her 4-month-old baby in her car over the weekend. The singer went on to say that her brother-in-law broke a window to get her son out of the vehicle. A spokesperson for the singer told Page Six the car was still running and it wasn't hot. He went on to say everything happened very, very fast and everybody's doing okay now. Ariana Grande will not face charges for allegedly licking donuts at a shop outside Los Angeles on July 4th. The Riverside County Sheriff says the owner of Wolfie Donuts has declined to press charges. You remember this video? TMZ posted a video of Grande and a male friend appearing to lick the donuts, and Grande saying she hated America. Grande made 2 public apologies over that one incident. And it turns out that actor Tom Selleck paid for the water he was accused of stealing. A water district in Ventura County had sued the Magnum PI star, claiming a tanker truck filled up at a public hydrant and took it to Selleck's 60-acre ranch more than a dozen times in the past 2 years. Well, the public works director says a local construction company has a meter on that hydrant, and Selleck bought the water legally. Taylor Swift likes to change the rules. GoFundMe set a limit of $15,000 for anyone making a donation on the site. But then the singer donated $50,000 to an 11-year-old girl in Arizona whose family was raising money for her leukemia treatment. So the crowdfunding site decided to raise its donation limit to $50,000. There's also no limit on how much a campaign can raise. This comes after Swift convinced Apple to pay artists during the trial run of its new streaming music service. Locked in a store with no way out. That's what happened to one man in Texas. Take a look.
I am stuck inside FedEx office on 281 in Bitters. I was over here.
Let me know I've got my ears out.
For an hour on the computer and nobody was here because they left and locked me inside FedEx office. Quite possibly the strangest experience of my life. So I'm just chilling, FedEx office all by myself. See what happens, I'll keep you updated.
I'm not sure why he didn't just call 911, but we're told the man called the manager at a nearby 24-hour FedEx store who came over and let him out after he was stuck inside for about 2 hours. 9:48 is your time, and coming up on Good Day Atlanta tomorrow, 2 former cast members from Real Housewives of Atlanta, Lisa Wu and Portia Williams, are stopping by our Good Day studio. But coming up next on Good Day Atlanta, our sweet pet of the day, his name is Grant. Stick around, we'll be right back.
I'm David Chandler, your Fox 5 Storm Team Chief Meteorologist. Now, Good Day Atlanta has prepared you for today, but Georgia's weather can change rather quickly. So make plans to join me tonight on Fox 5 News for your evening forecast. For your latest weather information anytime, depend on the Fox 5 Storm Team.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, go ahead and count to 5 again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, you're good. And we're gonna go ahead and slide the table.
Okay.
She didn't say. So I think she's good. No, I think.
What's up, Atlanta? I'm Portia Williams.
And I'm Hey Crack. Simon Cowell became a first-time parent last year, and I don't think anybody could have predicted how much he would love fatherhood.
That's right. There are already reports he's ready for the second one.
Well, he's so comfortable with babies now, we're exclusively hearing he's been dishing out parenting advice to his ex, Terry Seymour.
If there's one thing Simon is good at, that's criticism. I mean, giving advice.
Tune in to Dish Nation for more on this and other stories we're dishing about.
Welcome back. I'm joined now by Carrie from Georgia SPCA, and we've got just a curious kitty in the house. This is Grant. Grant has been all over the studio, hanging out on my couch over there, hanging out with Chris, our floor director, just loving people.
Very friendly and outgoing cat here.
And how old is he?
He's about 10 weeks old.
And this personality that we're noticing, this is kind of the way he was born, or did you guys kind of mold and shape him?
We definitely molded and shaped him, as we do with all of our kittens. You know, we make sure that they spend lots of time with volunteers. A lot of them grow up in foster homes and make sure they get a lot of interaction with all kinds of people, young people, old people, and with dogs and other cats. And that's the best way to make sure that they're comfortable for the rest of their lives around all kinds of different situations.
That makes sense. As they're going to be adopted into a home, you want them to be home ready when they get there. You have several cat specials going on right now.
Yes, so it's kitten season right now. We have lots and lots and lots of kittens available for adoption. adoption. As a result of that, we're running some specials right now. Adult cats over 2 years of age do not have an adoption fee, and kittens and young cats are adopt one, get one free.
Now, you also have a big gala coming up. It's not until October, but you're looking for sponsors right now.
Yes, our fall gala is going to be October 10th at the Gwinnett Center, and we're in the process of looking for some sponsors for some silent auction items, and there's more information about all that on our website if you're interested in helping us out with that.
That is fantastic. So they're looking for sponsors, and of course, Grant's just looking for a home. It's not too much to ask. For more information on adopting Grant here or any pet from Georgia SPCA, call 678-765-2726. The website right there on your screen, georgiaspca.org, or just search for the viewer information story on our Fox 5 Atlanta app. Let's send it over to Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Joanne Feldman for one final check of our forecast before we head out. No surprise, she's inside.
Yeah, exactly. And that's because we are tracking a severe weather threat for later today. Rest assured we're okay right now. Our sunshine filtered through a few clouds currently, but not storm clouds. And it's 82 degrees already. The breeze is picking up. It's 12 miles per hour out of the west-northwest. And that's not troublesome. It's the wind speeds inside any severe thunderstorms later today that will be the problem. And of course, the humidity is awfully high. Dew points are in the low 70s. So we're timing out when the storms will get here. Our latest model update pretty consistent with the one before it. So that gives us greater confidence in this being the timing that will work out. These storms kind of come roaring into northwest Georgia around 4 to 5 o'clock today. Now they'll cross Tennessee first, and then we'll watch them rapidly advance in on Atlanta North Metro area. That's what it looks like by 6 o'clock this evening. So that can impact the evening commute. If you're trying to make plans around this, make sure you're checking the weather before you head out. These storms should move quickly enough that you can kind of wait them out in any particular location. But 7 o'clock this evening, there it is, right over Atlanta, kind of hovers along the I-20 corridor for a little while, and then that will move on out by about 10 o'clock this evening. That doesn't mean we're finished. I want you to be on the lookout for also a continued threat, rather, for a few scattered thunder showers even after midnight. But obviously, we're not going to see as much after midnight as we'll see in the hours leading up to that. So the latest on the severe weather threat for today, biggest threat is damaging winds, 60 miles per hour or greater, but we can also get some large hail with these storms, and we cannot rule out a possible tornado. So stay alert to all types of warnings. The risk is higher in this area outlined in orange, which does extend into North Cobb, North Fulton, northern Gwinnett counties. Then southward, you can also get a severe storm. I just don't think we'll see as many of them in those spots. So basically watch from 4 o'clock today up until maybe midnight for most of the activity to happen. We will get to 93 degrees before those storms move in. And tomorrow, not as many storms. The severe weather threat's a bit lower. Temperatures are not, though. They're going to stay in the mid-90s all the way through early next week. I will look over the new model information and have an update for you today on Fox 5 News at noon. And be sure to check in with Jeff Hill and Chief Meteorologist David Shanley beginning today on Fox 5 News at 5. Karen?
All right, Joanne, thank you. And thank you for joining us for a Good Day Atlanta. Wendy Williams is coming up next. Stay connected to Fox 5 around the clock. Like our Fox 5 Atlanta Facebook page, follow us on Twitter at Fox 5 Atlanta, and subscribe to our Fox 5 Atlanta YouTube channel. Join us again for Fox 5 News at noon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you again in the morning. How are you today? Good. Hey, Tiny, my tasting's already, my script's already queued up for Wednesday's, child.
Karen has Wednesday's, child, so we're going to slide the IBU out of the way. She's going to set up
the same situation.